Hi guys, and welcome back to a new video from us. Armando,
Mel,
Ziggy, and Aria somewhere around.
somewhere. And Mork in the back.
And Mork, we decide today to start a kind of new videos type kind of thing.
Yeah.
And will be to celebrate our 7 years in Tibet.
7 years in the van.
7 years in the van, more than 2,500 days.
Together.
We didn't kill each other. We're still rolling.
There's still time.
Still time. Still rolling on the van. So our idea was to check our Instagram account. You can find here the link. Well, the name, it's pretty easy. Westfalia Digital Nomads. And check some old pictures.
And we'll tell you the story behind the photo.
So let's go on our Instagram page that's already here and which one to choose.
Definitely one of us, like when we're together in Brno.
Yeah, we don't have so many selfies. We're not.
We are really terrible at selfies.
Yeah, we probably have like 3,
5
maybe. So this is the theater festival.
That's us playing pool and it's only hands.
Yeah. That's me on a train. Do we have actually? I'm not sure.
That's the castle.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, that's a good story.
So these pictures is from a 4 or 5 days trip that we had.
It was a tester trip for traveling.
Yeah, we thought that we need to have a test to see if we can handle travel together.
Not everybody travels well together.
So we decided, let's take a train, let's go, I think it was south of Brno in the countryside, and then just walk somewhere. Just
we
without...
kind of wandered the countryside, checked out villages, and camped in a tent.
Yeah, we have a tent, we have a small camping gas stuff. We have just a little bit of groceries like coffee and, essential things. No, I think we don't have the gas. We did a fire, actually.
We made a fire because I totally torched my roommates.
Yeah. So we used to make a fire every time. And yeah, it was 4 or 5 days during summer.
And it was hot.
It was hot. And so we camped somewhere just in the countryside, and one night we walk and we arrived to an old castle, like ruins of a castle that was on the hill. It was pretty nice.
It was beautiful.
And
it was just before sunset, wasn't it?
It was, before sunset, but we saw that far away a storm was coming.
So we were thinking shelter?
Yes, so we were thinking, well, first we thought to put the tent. I remember I put the tent out.
Oh, that's right.
But then we saw that the storm is just coming that way. So we realized that there was a sort of dungeon that was kind of covered, part of the ruins.
Oh, but there were other people there.
Well, after that arrived...
We had a bonfire outside.
We have a bonfire. We have a bottle of rum.
That you brought?
Yeah, I brought rum, lime, and coffee and sugar. We have Jamaican rum. So we were kind of tipsy, I would say. So another guy with 2 girls arrived. So, and the storm starts, and we went, everybody just
all of us went into the dungeon. But the thing is, it wasn't a ruined dungeon, but it was it was sleeping on dirt.
Yeah,
basically.
On rocks, and we just have...
So they took one part of the dungeon and we took the other.
Yeah. So we kind of have a horrible night, I remember. It was really windy and stormy and
raining. He hates thunder.
And I hate thunder. It was really a strong storm. And plus, I don't remember who told us, there was a legend that the wife, the princess, at her first night at the castle was murdered by the...
Yeah, there was a lady in white story, and so, I get sketch about that.
Yeah, So it wasn't pleasant.
We didn't sleep well.
No, the other guy had a threesome, so I think that
somebody was happy.
Somebody was very happy. But it was pretty cool to have that experience because we found out
we both took it pretty easy, and that trip pretty much showed us that we could travel together.
Yeah.
And this was before we thought about getting the van.
Yeah, the van was just not even an idea.
We hadn't even spoken about it, yeah.
No. All right, let's check another pictures.
So you saw the van and then you were working in Prague, right?
Well, first I work in Brno.
Mm-hmm. But I like the Prague picture better.
Okay, let's go to the Prague pictures. Oh, this one.
Yeah.
So I started in Brno because I had some money left from the stuff I sold in 2012. This one, 22 July 2012. So I got some money, but I started spending it for living. I already found some accommodation in Brno by doing videos or a sign with water caps for
that
two
was so
hostels.
Funny. Yeah.
And so I can stay for free. So that's a lot of money.
You got like a month free for doing a video, or the other guys, it was doing an outside design and a sign.
Yeah, so that was already a way to cut the budget. But I was finished the money and I say, well, what I can do? Well, I did Fine Arts Academy and the high school fine arts school, so I can draw. And I thought, well, I can draw with chalk in the street. So I just went to a shop, buy some cheap chalk, and start.
You went into Brno's main street.
Usually we were only musician.
Yeah.
So I was the only one that was doing that kind of art.
Yeah.
So I remember I put a rope so people will not step on it. And the first one was Mork, the scream, the guy. And I was seeing that, people just leave coins, and at the end of the day was pretty good. So after a while in Brno,
hey, puppy.
I think even less than a week, I decided to go to Prague because there's more tourists in Prague.
So more money.
Yeah, so I went there and I found the best spot that it was in Wenceslav Square. If you know Prague, most of the town it's made with rocks, the pavement. And Wenceslav Square,
it's in District 2, and it's one of the main areas in Prague.
It's a big tourist cross there, and there's a part that it's asphalt, that it's great for drawing. So what I did, I bought some more advanced chalk for professionals, and then I also
got some really cheap stuff. Yeah.
And this picture, for example, you can see down at the bottom, that was my Picasso, that was the dream. I used also to write some information about the painter, and Mel, she started to do some research about it, or the painting. And then I used to give free chalk, and as you can see around me, I was so happy to see people just act like kids, because most of them were like grown-up people.
And they saw chalk and they can draw, and so there were the Koreans that drew their flag or something.
No, the Korean, they want to draw the Korean map, but it was like 101. It was like I don't have that much chalk, but it was really nice.
Just like a community because of one picture.
Yeah, I remember sometimes I can say I was surrounded by 100 people, and just 5 minutes, but you can see happiness, and that makes me happy.
Yeah.
And again, end of the day, I used to take it as a job. So from 9 o'clock, I go there, and usually I finish my art about 6:30, 7 o'clock. It was summer, nice weather. Sometimes was really hot. I remember one of the problem was my sweatness. into the chalk.
You sweat on the chalk.
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
But good money, and that's part of the money that we used to buy Mork. After that, we still didn't have any idea.
No, we did at that time, like in that transition, but it was how he saved up money.
Yeah.
And it was part of the money that financed our van.
Our home.
Yeah.
So let's check something else. Then.
I want to see the hostel.
The hostel?
Us saying goodbye.
Okay.
I like that.
So what happened that I think I stayed even less than a month in Prague. Okay, this picture. So I stayed less than a month. And one night I found Mork just in front of the hostel where I was guest, and the guy was really in need, let's say, to sell it. He wanted a bigger van because he had a kid. And 1 week later, I bought the van. I think I can't believe it. I think that was my first car ever.
Yeah.
So the thing is that the day before, and this was 24 August 2012. So the 24 August 2019, we can celebrate 7 years.
Yeah, officially.
Officially, and getting into our 8th year in the van. Wow. So the day before, buy the van, they called me from Bulgaria to be a first assistant director for an Italian movie. The job was really good as personal experience and money-wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, when I need to be there, and they say, well, can you be here tomorrow? Okay. So all our plans that were...
We wanted to test out the van, stay like, I don't know, a week or two, living in the van, getting used to it.
You still have a room in a flat.
I was still renting.
So the thing was like, checking out the van, buy some stuff because, it was pretty essential.
Yeah.
And we didn't have the time, actually.
So he phones me up and he says, Mel, pack up and be ready in 2.5 hours. And 2.5 hours, I had got rid of my extra stuff. I had one bag. I think you had two, but you had all your equipment.
Yeah, I got my the old camera and the computer and the bag with luggage.
And this is our last shot in Brno.
Yeah.
When we are literally, I had just come from around the corner where I'd been living, and we are taking our first journey in the van.
So that's a journey that still is going. we never actually.
We hadn't planned on it. It was convenience. It was.
I think that's maybe thinking now after 7 years. It seems kind of crazy, just because I saw. Back in 2012, when we started traveling, there were not so many people online, let's say, sharing their experience. So we were trying to find, what to do, how to continue our travel, how to...
Yeah, and digital nomads weren't really a thing. So, that's a different story, though. Let's not get too sidetracked. But this is before we knew anything about living in a van, and there was nothing online except for a woman who car camped.
Yeah. So this picture was in front of the hostel in Brno, and Dario, that's the owner, he took us the picture. I was so...
You were skinny.
Like now. But
exactly like now, baby.
Yeah, and from that day we start traveling without thinking that much,
without knowing very much.
Okay, and what else? I think. Oh, we don't have.
We don't have it, do we?
No, we don't have Budapest. But this was a funny picture, I remember.
Okay,
so,
this is Armando's story.
This picture, so we drove all night from the Czech Republic to Bulgaria. We first tried to enter in Serbia, but as we have the temporary license plate.
How much did they want?
They want €250 just to pass
Just to drive through.
And I say, you know what? It's not gonna happen. So we drove by, I think we drove back 50 kilometers back to the border with Romania. And we
actually, when we were on the border, that's when we named Mork.
Yes, we were thinking
actually, I think we were a little loopy by that time.
Yeah, because we have to wait.
We're tired and we're, kind of stressed. We want to get on time for his job. And
so I drove all night through Romania, and there was just a short part that had the highway. And we arrived to the Danube. And now I think they finished the bridge, but at that time there was a ferry. Oh
gosh, the ferry guy.
The ferry guy. So we arrive at the border. Well, not at the border. We're still in Romania, the Danube, and on the other side, Bulgaria. And there was a guy with a remote control that opens the gate, and that was
to let a car through.
Yeah, it was the one that set prices. So I asked how much is to cross with our van to Bulgaria, and he said, "Well, depends." And I was like.
Depends on what?
Depends on what? And he said, well, depends on me because I got the remote control. So it was pretty clear.
Yeah.
So we still...
No, then he goes, how many euros you got?
Oh, yes. And I still got some coins, and I think we got like 10 or 11 euros or 8, something like that.
I think it was 8.
And yes, I say, well, I got 8.
And he's like, then it's 8 euros.
Yeah. So and this was one of the things, the cement things to put the rope for the boat.
Oh gosh, yeah, I know what you're talking about, but I'm not a sailor.
So that was a funny story, and then we got to Bulgaria, and we can see. I don't know if we have a picture. I think maybe not. Of Mork
on the lot?
On the lot.
We should do.
Because...
Yeah, isn't that?
That's not really on the lot.
Oh, you want like the flag and...
Yeah, but we can show another picture. Maybe up here. No, this is already plowed. But, so I was... These black and white?
I kind of like the funky ones, actually.
This one?
That one's cool.
This one.
Yeah.
So, I was called to be a first assistant director for an Italian movie that was about Rodolfo Valentino, the famous Italian actor of the beginning of 1900. And so it was a movie in costume. And
period costumes, yes.
It was in the studios, the big Bojana studios in Bulgaria and Sofia. So we arrived the day after, and we parked in New York 1920s. That was pretty amazing.
Seriously, it was the set design, like huge set. American flags and like everything.
Old cars and horses. Everybody in costume. So on one side we have Mork, and on the other side you just go back 100 years, and it was amazing.
It basically looked like that.
Yeah.
That was from a night shoot, yeah?
From a night shoot, yes. And I really enjoy. I was working also with my best friends from Bulgaria, Plamen. It was my assistant, and our job was to move more than 200 extras and the cars, and to make the scenes live. Everything that happens behind the actors. Funny things about that time that they were shooting as well 300 the second episode, the Spartans movies.
Well, and the way that we were parked, like it was basically away from this set, so it wasn't going to be like caught on film. But where we were parked, in order to get good Wi-Fi, I was working online, but I'm facing this way, and we didn't have the screen at that time. No. So I've just got like the front window, and 3:00 every day, all of the extras and actors are oiled up, wearing loincloths, like gladiator type guys.
Yep.
and I'd be writing
kind
my
of
friends,
like me.
Absolutely, sweetie. But I'd be, writing my friends, ooh, it's almost 3:00. Because, just beautiful
And the tongue
voice.
just go. Okay.
3:00 was a good time.
A last picture.
Our last picture. Wasn't that the lake?
So this one was
This is your story.
our first official outdoor camping kind of things with the
Yeah,
van.
because we were off the lot.
Yeah, I think
I'm
that
still in Bulgaria.
Saturday and Sunday was
3 days.
3 days. So there's a lake that it's 45 kilometers from Sofia. I used to sail there. And yeah, it's a nice lake. It's easy to park and to go just near the lake. And yeah, it was still summer. 10 September, but still hot.
It was
hot
really
summer.
nice, yeah.
So like now, we have the awning out. We pop up. We didn't have all the extra at that time. We didn't have the
Yeah,
solar
he looks
panel
almost
yet.
naked that way, doesn't he?
Yeah, it was just basic
Look at his
T4.
tires.
And yeah, that was our first official camping, outdoor camping, and I think we also want to try out all the gears and
Get to know it a
Get
little
to
bit
know.
better because we were still pretty basic at that time.
I think that even the first time we didn't know how to do the bed.
It took us over an hour.
Yeah.
Seriously, because
We
we
didn't
didn't
know
know
that-
where to put the bags and,
Yeah.
and how to,
slide
pull it out.
yeah.
And our first meal,
Yeah, the first meal in front of the parliament in Budapest, it was hot dog on the fire because we just had one
we only
fork.
had one fork, and we didn't
And the
have any
fire.
pans,
Yeah.
so we just turned on the oven,
Yeah.
cooked it over the flame. So no, wait, go back to that.
Okay.
So the funny thing about this isn't that when we had to get rescued,
Oh yes, because
because
I forgot to put fuel to put diesel in the van. So Monday morning I call a really good friend Nikki.
he's got to be at work in like what, an hour?
An hour, yeah, and I found out we don't have power, we don't have fuel. So I called my friend Nikki. What's up? What's going on? Can you bring like 10 liters of diesel right here? And he came with a motorcycle. No, actually, he came to pick
Pick
me
you
up,
up so he could take you to the gas
take
station.
you to the gas station
And
with
then
a tank.
you guys came back,
and
yeah.
then came back, fill 10 liters.
And
of
you were
diesel.
almost on time.
Yeah, almost on time for the movie. So Ziggy came here. That means that it's time to go for us.
Yep.
I don't want to be too boring with our picture, but
Yeah.
I hope you like these kind of videos that tell a little bit more
Behind the
story,
scenes.
behind the
stories, yeah.
scenes story, and I think that some of them you will find very funny because we found very funny. We found very stressful when it happened.
Sometimes it was funny in the moment.
Yeah.
Sometimes it wasn't. It depends on the situation. But
But
looking back, it's funny now.
yeah. So thank you guys for watching.
Thank you
Safe
very
travels,
much.
and see you next time.
Ciao.